Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Neitherworld podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, Perry.
Hello, I'm Ben. I actually used to have my own podcast. It's still on YouTube. I might talk about that later, not to self-plug at the beginning of a different podcast. So technically, this is my second podcast.
Okay.
Fun thing about me, I've seen Beetlejuice 21 times, and once actively tried to steal a loose hanging sign off of the Beetlejuice marquee.
Next.
I'm Perry. I am one of the four rats in the trench coat. We've decided the other three are Matthew, Ben, and Charlie. I've seen Beetlejuice 3 times because I decided to just go to New York and just see it 3 times when I had no money and no resources to do so.
That's the magic number.
Absolutely. Got to see it 3 times.
Yes. Charlie?
Hi, yeah, I'm Charlie. I haven't seen Beetlejuice ever. I don't have enough money to go to New York at the moment, and all the theatres are closed, so, it wouldn't be a great trip. I don't really know any fun facts about me, but I'm here. I'm the loose cannon. Anything could happen.
Wild card.
I share in Charlie's life of not being able to see Beetlejuice because I live down in Yorkshire and I am poor. I spent all my money on that flipping Beetlejuice costume that is staring me down right now, so... Hey ho.
Ain't that a mood. Ain't that a mood.
We'll take our money one way or another.
It will. So,
Truly.
this is a podcast that we're going to be covering a range of different topics, and as you can already tell, we're all crazy, and it's going to be controlled chaos, hopefully.
Control? Is it? Control?
No. I was trying to be nice.
Control any of us.
No. So, the topic today is becoming a cosplayer. We're all cosplayers here, and we all mainly do Beetlejuice, the dirty rat boy. So, I think we're perfect for having a budget and knowing what to do with it. So, I'm first going to go to Perry. Perry, how did you start with cosplaying?
So I started cosplaying way back when, in 2012. When I cosplayed the Joker at MCM London. It was, I liked the Joker. I thought, hey, no one's going to cosplay the Joker. I'm going to cosplay that. Ended up buying a really expensive costume that I've not worn since. Went to con, realised that everyone cosplays the Joker, but still tried to get way too into it. Was in character for most of the weekend, annoying the hell out of my sister in the process. But yeah, that was the first cosplay I ever did. From that point, I've basically just gone more and more into making my own things, both for budget reasons and also because it's fun to make your own costume. But yeah, so I started off spending way too much of my parents' money and now spending way too much of my own. Going great.
I'd like to compliment Perry's remake of the costume because you had an old version, but you've redone it and it looks fabulous with all the minute details. That must have taken a long time. How long did it take on average?
I think I've clocked it at about 60 hours now. I tried to figure out the cost and the hours, and it was too many numbers. So yeah, about 60 hours work on it and that's from the very beginning. I first got the jacket. You said I did a remake. The actual original Beetlejuice I made is the same jacket as the one that it is now, and the same trousers and everything. I didn't remake it. I just painted over the same thing that I already had. I just kept adding and adding and adding, and now I have this monstrosity that, guess what, guys? It's still not finished.
I think that's a pain we can all share in.
Yeah, I still look at it and go, oh, I need to add that bit and add that bit. I think I've also now decided that it's going to become a replica of Will Blum's costume, just because I cannot be bothered to make 4 different suits to copy Alex Brightman for the different colours.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Batman.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We stand Will Blum.
Ben, how did you start in cosplaying?
Well, quite appropriately, on a Beetlejuice podcast. It was Beetlejuice. It was that I saw it back in April, when it was like had just come back there from DC, and I wanted to kind of dress in a way that was like dress up for the show, And I spent the night before taking some old jeans that I had, and bear in mind, like, I live in England as well, so I was staying with my godmother, and I was sleeping on her couch, and so I spread out, like, this big, old, dirty bedsheet, and it was me on the floor with white paint and black jeans, and just kind of, like, taping to try to make these lines, like, straight, and drawing on the back of the jacket, which I actually still have, that I quite like, saying, it's showtime on it, and drawing and shit, and adding some. I actually saw one guy the first time I saw the beach. I was had safety pins on his jacket, so I was like, I'm gonna steal that, and did that, and then went to see it twice in one day because it was. I saw it like a few days before, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get like cheap rush tickets and stuff, and go and see it. So at least before I leave, I'll see the magic number. I'll see it 3 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, nobody's ever thought of that joke. How funny, guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At stage door. Well, no, I mean, like, at stage door, I was, like, super proud of that. I was like, oh, yeah, saw it 3 times. Like, you know. And then I went home, and the first time I met Alex, and he was like, oh, this is cool, and it wasn't makeup or whatever, it was just these outfits. And then I went back home to England, and Alex had been sweet, and he noticed my jeans and something. This was way before like stage door was crowded or anything. There were like 10 people there, and he took extra long, so like 5 people there. He was like, oh, have you ever been backstage at the Winter Garden? And he took me, and I was like, man. And due to actually the other podcast that I have, which I usually use to like, hey, do you guys want to film a podcast with me? Here's my Instagram, follow me. And he followed me on my Instagram when he still had an Instagram, rip Alex Brightman's Instagram. And back in England, when I tried to do some like beard for Beach, I did a video on my story saying like, oh, I look like a rejected Beach son, British, like he abandoned in London. And Alex DM'd me, and he was like, hello, son. Nice to like some.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
Yeah, funny enough, he's DM'd me first on Instagram and Twitter, so I'm just like, hi, Dad.
I mean, canon at this point.
Not demoted, but in a different position to brother when he like tweeted about me one time. I'm sorry, this is all like really flexy and shitty, but these are like general. This is part of the story, but it was that my beard was originally really bad, and obviously I'm really baby faced, but like. I kept doing it more and more, and when I kept seeing it, and the sheer amount of times I saw it, I was trying to sorry, I'm being drawn off by Matty trying to say to improv, but sorry, called you out there. I'll just keep it going, man. And basically, I did this like makeup and shit, and that. I think Beach like brought out the feral in me of like that was when I also first got TikTok, so I know like all of us have TikTok, and there's me going back and trying to make some like edgy shit or something of Beetlejuice son, and trying to make that look cool. The stripes were not even straight; they kind of like concaved in because I did it wrong, but it was so the comparison of then every time I went again, like if I went back to New York and stayed with my godmother on her couch, then I would try to do something slightly different. Like I would do red beach, so like I just spray painted some on my actually red hairspray or something onto my jacket, and did my face red, and change it up. The first time I went as red beach, I think I was like, they were like, oh, I haven't seen anybody do red beach, which was fun, and Eddie Perfect like came out of the stage door, so I met him with like full face, entirely caked in white face paint, and like a bang in my mouth.
That's
and, like,
amazing, dude.
Yeah, it was buck wild, but it's funny because like when I go, then nobody is phased anymore. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's Ben. He's in beach cosplay. We know. Like, hey man, what's up? But it's wild.
Yeah, I think there's something really special about being recognised by the people in whatever show it is that you're cosplaying. I mean,
oh yeah,
if we're doing the little flexy things, when I was at stage door in my costume, Will Blom came out, and he'd just been on a Zozo, and I knew I was going to be seeing with Beetlejuice on the Sunday, and then I surprise saw him for an act of Beetlejuice on the Friday. But yeah, so I was saying to him how long the costume had taken, all of that, and he had a bit of a moment of being like, this is genuinely the best costume I've ever seen. How have you done this? What? Explain, which was really cool and kind of made the 60 hours worth it. Having that moment of Will being like, yeah, I appreciate what you've done here. You've done good job.
Seriously, I keep that's what I enjoy doing with like cosplay and stuff. Of that, I think TikTok is a good. I mean, it's got its flaws and it's got its mess and it's got its all that. But the fun thing I find about like cosplay and TikTok joined together is that you can make something. And you can make a video and you're like, I've done something with the thing I made, rather than you make this big suit. And especially for people who like can't afford to go to New York and show the actors themselves, or maybe all you can do is like post a picture of it, you can actually film like as the character.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You don't have the right voice to sing it, or even if you just want to do it in Alex's voice, and like it can make it some cool content and stuff. And I think like OG cosplay people were like TikTok lip syncing, redoing that, and making it like a thing for character. And I like to do a mesh of whatever the hell on TikTok in general. But I did like yesterday. I did like a Mary Poppins. Have any of you seen Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
You know the male servant, Roberts and I.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
Oh, we know. We've seen your Twitter.
Have you seen my TikToks?
I've seen your Twitter and your TikTok.
Oh.
I've seen your TikTok.
Oh no. Okay, so for some podcast listeners, backstory basically. God, he better not hear this. He won't. So I saw Mary Poppins, and there's again Beetlejuice awoke my love of Ratman, and it's never stopped. And Roberts and I is basically this servant who works for like the Banks' household, Mary Poppins' whole show thing, and his whole thing is like he's falling all over in himself the whole time, and he's got like slick back hair and this nice jacket, and he is actually really good at like dancing and singing, and the guy is a real sweetheart, and he's running around, he's falling around, and I did the cosplay last night, and I was literally running back and forth around my bathroom, like trying to hit myself with things. And like hit my head on the wall and fall, because the whole thing is his one scene is him running around the kitchen and getting hit by the leg of the table, getting his foot stuck in a bucket, getting like knocked out by a vase falling on his head, like something really stupid. And so immediately him being like a stupid idiot, I was like, oh, we love it. I'm so attracted to this. And he actually ended up. We're now sort of like friends, and funnily enough, as you, Perry, I think you were telling your Joker story, I got a text from I got a text from him. Oh, speaking of, I now have 6 notifications from him of him sending. So Supercalifragilistic has this big choreography, and they spell the letters, and I know how to do like hand spelling, but the rest of it doesn't have any tutorials online. And he goes around and he like does tutorials of like not tutorials. It's in person, like a dance class. And I was like, oh hey, I know you do these dance classes. Could you maybe send me some videos of that? I'd be willing to pay you. Although he hasn't said about that. I think he's just a sweet guy, and he's just bored in isolation, and has just sent me 6 videos on WhatsApp of which I'm now ecstatic to watch, because I guarantee you he's probably going to be like, hi Ben, because it's literally for me, but you do be a sweetheart, and I think there's definitely something chef's kiss about dumbasses.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Charlie, how did you get?
Sorry, that was hey, I was told to improv, but
yeah.
Yes, Charlie, I'd love to. Go.
I mean, I haven't got half as exciting a story as you guys.
No, don't. I swear to God, if you compare yourself, that's some bullshit.
I got into cosplay through the show Voltron. I was meant to be going to con with my friend as a character from Voltron, which that was the first cosplay I made, and I spent ages altering this jacket that I haven't worn since and kind of regret buying now. But you know, that's a different story. We all spend too much money on this thing. And then I was told to listen to Beetlejuice by a friend at school, and kind of fixated on it, just slightly. Something about the whole Chaos Ratman. Just a bit. And so for the next 2 weeks or so, I just spent the rest of my life making this suit, and I happened to find a jacket that was striped in a shop, and just kept making this suit. Spent too much money on it, and still haven't seen the show. But definitely haven't watched any slime tutorials.
No, definitely not.
Green Man. No.
Perfect timing, my dude.
Hello.
Well, we definitely hella improv that, Maddie. So we've done with the at least it seems how we got into cosplay. So what's up next?
Oh.
Well, how's Matty get to cosplay?
Oh my god! Tell us.
Hello. I think it was about 2 years ago. I was a stupid Doctor Who fan and bought my first ever David Tennant jacket. And it went from there. But the first time I did proper cosplay was Beetlejuice. Because I saw... I saw a trailer for the musical, loved the costume, bought a suit for £5 from a charity shop, and then went off that. And it's been worked on ever since with new pieces. So... pretty basic origin. I'm not that cool.
No, that's cool. I mean, I think all of us have to as many as people of just being younger and also just being people, and especially cosplay, taking some cheap shit of a cheap suit charity same thing. I did a cheap charity suit and just painted it and did tape. And just a lot of paint. That was where the cost really got me. It's just a lot.
Yeah,
oh my god,
paint for me.
Paint.
I've had to definitely not take any from school.
Yes. Oh my god.
I genuinely think Hobbycraft is concerned about me at this point.
Yeah.
The amount of green hairspray and paint I've bought from Hobbycraft, it's
because you
unreal.
keep coming in and buying the same paint. 5 of the same paint every single time you come in. How do you not have enough?
There's a Halloween store in New York, and because when I would go, I would especially hyperfixating on beach at that time. I would do beach every time I went, pretty much, and so I would go back and I would buy. And I would also be trying to upgrade it of how can I do the makeup better? How can I do this? And also because it was my first cosplay, how to do it better. I went into this Halloween store every day, also just to browse. And they were man, you good? It was just around Halloween thing because it's very New York, But I kept buying green face paint and green.
Amazing.
The Americans actually care about each other. You go to a shop in England, I don't think they're very concerned. I don't think they'll remember you after once or twice.
They'll just give you a slightly judgmental look if you buy slightly too much green face paint.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of hey bud, what are you up to? But they're not going to say that.
They're not going to ask. It's England. We're too polite.
Absolutely.
We're too polite, but also do we they're just trying to do their job. They're probably just. I'm sick of it. I don't care if you buy some suspect stuff. I'm just going to talk about it.
There might be someone American listen to this, and I think we've just accidentally slacked off the Americans and insulted us British as well. So they're going to be very confused.
We've just said the Americans are nice and considerate, and the Brits are quiet and stubborn.
Yeah,
so,
something doesn't seem right
Brexit.
there.
Yeah. There's definitely a handful of all of that in both places. But the fun thing though, Times Square does not give any hoots, or the subway, if you are in full beach cosplay at all.
I mean, you say this. I got stopped and asked how much it was for a photo, and 3 people asked me if I was in the show. So they don't care.
No,
Some people get excited.
Yes, one time I stepped off the subway, and the guy saw me with some green on my face, and he went, man, the Riddler. And he meant to state the Joker, which is also not right.
I mean, just incorrect on all levels.
No, man.
I got confused for a minute there, and I thought you meant you went to a Subway store. I was very confused why you were getting Subway and Beetlejuice. No, it's the
underground.
Yeah, what we call the underground.
when I saw Beej as well for like the first time in cosplay, me and my friend Chris just stood on the side and genuinely, like, people were like, "Are you in the show?" And we were joking around and we were excited to do like character stuff, and so we put on our like Beej accents and like lowered up through the gruffness, and we're kind of like, at the interval we got back up and we were like, "Yeah, man, the show seems pretty good so far. When are we supposed to go on stage?" And we were kind of like,
we do need to say Chris is a very good cosplayer. Chris is
a very good cosplayer.
very inspiring.
I miss him. Truly. No, I miss him very much. I saw him, I think in December or in October or whenever last time I was there. No, he's great fun. He was, I think, my first like cosplay friend as well. But I think I knew him doing cosplays way before I did cosplays, and then like he saw that I was doing that, and we got a bit closer through that, which is nice. I think like the community of this, because also I've made fun fact, podcast listeners, I didn't know Perry or Charlie like have never spoken to them like in locally before this, so this is exciting, and this is our own introduction. Like this show brings so many people together, and I saw this whole movement of people. Obviously, everybody's really upset that it's eventually closing, and I think like as simple and as silly and as like feral as he is, and the show is, and like it's brought together so many people, and I think it's because it's like funny and great, and I think that's a cool thing of theatre and cosplay, like both communities so well intertwined of like making friends and like having fun, because like that's the whole thing of cosplay, is like having fun and enjoying stuff on a different level that you already enjoy and expressing that in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, Perry, do you have your question?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
So,
go ahead.
Question for all of you guys. So what advice can we give people wanting to become a cosplayer?
I'd like to hear what Matty has to say.
Yeah, go for it, Matthew.
Me?
Yeah. What there?
It was my topic I thought of. Learn how to spend money wisely. I think
still haven't learned how to do
that. I think that's number one, because if you get too carried away, you can get very carried away. I think when I bought some of the props, like the ukulele, the popcorn, the hat and everything, I've spent quite a lot of money that I would have put aside. So you've got to know when to limit yourself from buying that other prop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
figure
good.
it out, let me know.
Ben, since you dumped me in it, I'd like to hear what you say.
Yeah, go for it then.
Advice. Yeah, okay. Advice for cosplayers. I mean, again, like I'm not too much of a seasoned cosplayer, and what I'd suggest is I've seen on TikTok and though I'm not super part of cosplay community as well, because I only ever went to my first con, the like last one in London. But I think just do what makes you happy and do it for the fun of it, because I know a lot of cosplayers that do it, and including like a number of my friends that do it, and they're like, oh god, I've got to get this cosplay finished. And I think if you can avoid that mindset as much as you can, of like do it like, oh, I'm super excited to finish this thing I'm making, like I'm excited to complete this project, I'm excited because I get to embody a character that I love and respect, or take it somewhere, or do something like that, instead of it being like a chore. And also to take it as a thing of happiness, and not let people get you down for if you don't have the exact right thing, especially if it's like a really popular cosplay and they're like, no, you need to do it like this or like this. And I think the whole purpose is that you're embodying a character that you like, or basically doing it in an art form of a show you love, and like just have fun with it, really. And also, like Maddie said, like be careful with some money stuff. Try to be, as well as like I heavily support like charity shops and stuff, so if you can buy
Absolutely.
Buy material from that, because it's so cheap and it's very good, and it helps fast fashion, like to reduce that. Just keep that in mind, and try not to make too much of a mess of your sink if you dye things. That is a big one. and get paint all over everything. If you do paint, maybe invest in an apron. Maybe that's something.
Painting is a big one for Beetlejuice because of the stripes. I think the first costume I did, the stripes were completely out of whack and not even at all. So you've got to bring yourself to paint over it, but don't get too annoyed if it's not completely accurate.
Yeah, I think with cosplay as well as life, not to get too deep, like just don't be too hard on yourself. Like what you make is something you should be proud of, because also starting off, like, I was not great. Like, it's difficult to get good at makeup. Like, if you want to learn, especially beach, like doing a beard or doing contour or doing like green face makeup or whatever you want, like, don't be too hard on yourself for doing that, and let yourself practice, and don't compare yourself, because TikTok is a great platform to make friends. There's also such a feeling of competition, especially with things that are cosplayed so much, like beach, that one is better than the other, or that you're lesser than, and you're just like, it's different, and it's also something that you love, and you're just as valid and important, and you're having fun. Like, that's the main thing.
Absolutely. So, Charlie, have you got any input?
What advice? I'm trying to think now. I was gonna say, like, practice, like doing makeup and stuff, because for me, starting off doing Beetlejuice, looking back, it's absolutely horrific to make it up.
Yeah, same.
I guess it's good in a way to look back at photos that you've had and sort of cringe at them. It shows improvement. So don't be, like, scared to try and improve your cosplays, I guess.
I mean, it's hard to start as well.
Yeah, it's really hard to start.
Yeah, when I first started, I didn't have a proper reference photo, so if I look back, the first ever one I did, and did for a while, are these massive purple eyes that go up to my eyebrows, and the green's not even, like, done with a brush. I think it was done, like, with a face paint crayon, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It honestly makes me...
And I think to add to makeup stuff, like, learn what is good makeup. like the are probably not the move. The little, like, kids, children ones, I think, like Snazaroo are a bit better. And, like, what to use paintbrushes and to, like, wash your things and to keep and reuse and, like, store that and figure out what works and is...
I love everyone's different interpretation of the makeup. Like, nobody tries to make it 100% accurate. It's nice to have that little bit of a spin which is individual to each person.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. No, that's kind of what I'd say as my advice is that, while obviously accuracy is great, don't sweat the details. That's how you end up sitting drawing your 1000th dot of the evening at 1 a.m. regretting all your life choices. And yeah, if you're adding your own details, I mean, there's loads of stuff on my costume that I've added just because my personal version of Beetlejuice would have it. Like, I've got loads of stitching and things in places where the real costume doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I've got more fraying in some places, less fraying in others. I've got random stains in places where it's never seen on the costume, but it's just because that's how I want to interpret Beetlejuice. It's cosplay isn't about making the most accurate thing you can. Yeah, it's great if people are like, oh wow, it's accurate, but make the character your own and then make the costume for that character, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I entirely agree. I think to liken it to something that I, like, enjoy and familiar with, like, I take drama and stuff, and I think if you're doing a revival of something in a way that's sort of like redoing a character, like, it's similar to cosplay, and like that you add your own thing of it, because if you want to do a character that somebody else has done, like Shakespeare, like, you do that over and over and over again. If everybody's Hamlet was exactly the same, then it wouldn't be, the production would not be worth putting on. I mean, you can, you know, like, something, even if it looks exactly the same, like, you are different for doing that, and I think you're, like, all just, like, as valid, and adding your own stuff that doesn't have to be, like, again, like a chore. Like, it can be just fun, and adding, I love that you have stains where they're not on the costume, because absolutely he would have stains everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. Yeah, I also like that with shows like Beetlejuice. I think Six is another one that does it a lot, where you have the understudies have different costumes with different details. Like they haven't made the effort, or they've intentionally made it so the costumes are different. Because I think it really adds to the characters almost. I mean, with Alex's Beetlejuice, there's a lot less spraying on it than Will's, and Will's is, I'd argue, just a little bit more chaotic. So it's that. It kind of feeds into the character, and so even on the actual literal Broadway stage, they don't have the same costume twice. Then how on earth are you going to be able to make it twice? The reference pictures alone,
Yeah, I mean, also finding reference pictures is so difficult, because when I first tried to do Beach, it was back in April, so it wasn't on for very long, and so I had to try and find some ones of his back, of where the stripes go and how it joins up and what the details were of that. It's crazy trying to find good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to throw one in about facial expressions. The great thing about Beetlejuice is that everyone's facial expressions are absolutely chaotic, and it just it's amazing how it creates this sort of character. And not everyone's different, and that's something that shouldn't be looked down upon, because there are people out there who look down upon it, but I think it's something that should be celebrated instead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In every way, in cosplay and in life and in everything.
Yes.
It makes it more fun. And it's cool to see other people's interpretation of that, because literally in the show there's Beetlejuice clones, and not all of them have the same makeup. They're all slightly different, and they're all super cool.
Yeah, they're crazy. Right, moving on. Charlie, do you have your question?
I do, and I have temporarily forgotten it. Give me a second.
This is the great work of Charlie, guys.
My question is, has anyone got funny stories from our time as cosplayers? I'm going to say, Perry, you have to start.
Yes, I didn't get picked on.
Okay.
Yep, sorry.
Someone else can take it if they want. Doesn't have to go to me.
Do you need a minute to think?
So I've got loads of just random little things where I tried and failed at being in character. I remember I accidentally harassed, back when Joker again, I accidentally harassed someone dressed as Robin.
Oh gosh.
I was walking towards them a little bit, trying to be scary, and they had a fake sword that they kind of spun it as a bow, in karate, and this big stick was just pointing at me, so I just grabbed the stick and ran away with it. And you also have, again, Joker. I really tried with the Joker and went absolutely mental with being in character, and a lot of funny things happened. I went up to
Joker?
Pardon?
Was this new Joker, or what era Joker is this?
Heath Ledger Joker.
Nice.
But yeah, so I went up to a Batman, and I was like, I hate Bats, I'm a great fan. And he was like, huh? What? And I was like, I'm a fan. Can I have your autograph? And he was like, huh? And I was like, oh, okay, it's just me in character, okay.
Oh, that's boring.
That's so boring. I was like, come on, join in the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I get it if people don't want to, role play or whatever, but you could just at least be the Joker.
Yeah, haha, how funny, you made a funny joke, great.
Yeah, exactly. But really? Me dressed in a Batman outfit? I don't know who you are. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, and it was, another great one was, Don't Judge Me. I was cosplaying Lucifer from Supernatural.
Yes.
And I got on the train, and I was just standing on the train, living my best life. And then we got to the next stop, and a woman with 2 children got on the train, looked at me, got off, and walked down to the next carriage. And I was like, oh.
That shows how powerful your cosplay is.
Yeah, that was just how on point I was. I terrified a woman into taking her children away from me.
And that's called canon.
Yeah.
That's actually amazing.
Okay, so someone else take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I have a confession to make. I've never been to a Comic-Con as Beetlejuice yet. Where I live...
Well, that's got to happen.
Oh, I know. Where I live, Comic-Cons are very rare. We have 1 or 2 a year. So the times that I've earned the costume, there hasn't been one. And the next one's in June. So,
Wow.
I don't have any funny stories about Comic-Con, but I do have plenty of instances where I have not been wearing shoes in my little setup, and I have fallen over as many different characters. I caught some on camera, but I don't know where they've all gone. But I have many different instances where you just getting so crazy with the sound or the roll, and you fall over like a wally.
Absolutely.
And you-
That's happened many times to me.
Yes,
Hmm.
Maddie, while you stepped out for a second, I was talking about how literally yesterday I was cosplaying Robert Tonight from Mary Poppins, and his
Yeah.
entire character is him falling all over the place. So I was running back and forth from the bathroom, and I had to like fake fall all the time. And obviously that ends up with you actually falling.
Yeah.
But you know, it'd be like that.
I once punched myself so hard making a TikTok that I bruised. It was an
Ooh.
accident.
How do you accidentally punch yourself?
I'm not a dancer, okay, and I think I was trying one of those TikTok trend dances. I think I didn't.
Fair enough.
Punch themselves.
I think I was reaching for something to my right, and my hand was just way too close to my face, and I just punched my nose, and it was, it hurt. It was not great.
Sorry.
Don't know where that police has gone, but I'm glad it's vanished.
Good, definitely. Charlie?
I'm kind of the same as Matty. I think I've only been to one con, and the rest have been cancelled now.
Yeah,
so I don't have many
coronavirus, you.
funny stories. Damn it, Corona! We want to go to con.
Have you ever seen one of those memes where it's Boris and it's like, right, I've had enough, you're all grounded? I find that very funny because he's now in isolation.
Yep,
Uh.
he's had to self-ground himself.
Everyone is grounded.
He's still doing his
Yeah,
job though.
everyone's
Good lad.
grounded.
Yeah, Corona said, you're all grounded, you've been naughty, stay inside, you filthy cops.
We've got plenty of time for cosplayers now though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
I don't have to cosplay specifically at midnight anymore. But I still do.
I mean,
I remember one of your videos, Charlie, where you had to sneak to get, I think it was hair gel, and it was just
Oh my
you
God.
sneaking
I've-
around.
Okay, one of the funny stories I have is me at 2 o'clock, I think it was, in full Beetlejuice cosplay at the time, and my mum walks down the corridor, opens my door, just sees me, and I just stood there for about 5 seconds trying to work out what to say. She, in that time, she just turned around and walked off. I was trying to be like, I can explain. I can't
Can
explain.
you?
That's my way of explaining it.
there's no
I'm...
reason, no excuse. Hilarious.
I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, after I've gotten into like cosplay and makeup, my mom is like actually really sweet about it because she's like, "Oh my god, how did you do that?" She's like, "That's a cool video." She doesn't know how TikTok works, and it's like really cool. And is like loves all the clown makeup and like feral stuff and garbage stuff I do. And one time I put like I can't remember why, but I put like this tiny mustache on my face with like eyeshadow or something. And I was sitting there and I filmed a video or something and I forgot about it. And my mother came in, had a conversation with me like, "Oh, where is this in the kitchen?" or something like that, and did not tell me. And then I put on the front-facing camera for something else, realized I'd had that on for like 2 hours, and she hadn't at all. I was like, I love that this has just become normality.
Yeah, that's just how that works now.
I was a closet cosplayer as well. My family didn't know about it. They found it about a month ago now. So I have to now tell them every time I'm doing it because you'd get into full costume, record a video, and then you'd have to go do something. And they didn't know about it. So, wasted an hour and then had to take it off in about 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
I had to do that last night. My mum was we were having dinner late for some reason, and it was last night, the Mary Poppins thing. But he has weird makeup of like, it's like orange stuff on his nose, and it's nothing too extreme, but like fake acne. And I was also in a white shirt, like black vest and tie. So I had to sit down to eat Indian, and I was like, well, I know this is gonna like stain me, so I'm gonna put something over it. So I was at the dinner table with my mother, my mum's boyfriend, my mum's boyfriend's roommate who's staying with us in an apron and this weird acne eyeshadow on my face. And then I was like, yeah, sorry guys, gotta go film a video at 10 p.m. See ya.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So it becomes, it happens.
That's
Anyway.
so cool.
That's funny. So, I haven't said my funny thing. Can I go now? Or Matthew, do you have more?
No, I'm good.
Cool.
Quick thing, we
I
have
haven't-
been told we've been given extra time, so we've got time.
Oh, good.
Fancy.
Yeah.
We've been gifted.
Well, I haven't. I think I mentioned this one time, but I've only ever been to con once, and I went to the last London one, and I went as a very easy thing that I had of Dewey from School of Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. So this is I've put it on voice memos now. This is now my my recording of it. So Matty is disconnected. So now you have two very very interesting audios of this. Where were we at? What were we doing?
I think we just been doing the funny stories, so it just was coming up to the end.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
funny stories. The MCM one of that, and just generally doing cosplay and stuff and having fun with that, and also every time I go to Beach, I've actually made friends with some of the ushers, and they're really sweet. They're like, "Oh Ben, so good to see you," because I'm not there all the time, obviously, because I don't live there. But when I go there on holiday, they've basically adopted me, and it's very very sweet.
The lady with the afro
Yes.
is iconic, and I love her so
Yes,
much.
yes. I love her, and also another usher who's quite short and really sweet, and brown hair that's usually tied up in a ponytail. She was really sweet as well.
Oh yeah, she was lovely. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, we love the
think
Beetlejuice ushers.
We stand the ushers. They do such a good job.
They do.
They do such a good job.
I really want to get an usher job so bad.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool.
Right. I mean, I've just gotten into an art school in London, so that's really cool. But now that I'll probably have more time to do stuff I like, because I'm not messing about with maths and sciences and that. When I can when I'm 18, I'm very excited to get an usher job, and audition mid that. Have you ushered before, or do you just wanna?
No, I've had a job similar to ushering, where I was kind of a tour guide, so it was being somewhere people are a fan of, while also working there and being there all the time. It's a weird experience, because you see people posting, being like, "Oh, I'm so excited to go do this thing," and you're there just I've been there every single day for a year and a half now.
I actually worked at this, not entirely the same, but I worked at this immersive production, The Great Gatsby, and I kind of interned there, and it was funny because I would see people on the train from my hometown going there, and I would be going there to a few hours, an hour early to set up the. Yes, Matty's coming back. Hello, Maddie. I've got a bit of the audio, so I'm going to keep recording from this just in case, but also please keep recording.
Yeah, mine's gone.
Oh, yours is gone. Okay, well, we'll just use mine then. For the rest of that.
I've still got the audio of half of it, but you're going to have to...
What we've done.
We'll edit it together.
Yep, great. Again, Audacity is a good one. If you download it, it's a good editing one as well. You just highlight it and delete.
Yeah, that's up.
Wait, what was I saying, Barry or Charlie? I can't remember.
You're talking about when you're traveling to places.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
to your thing.
I was saying how I worked at an immersive production of The Great Gatsby, and as I was getting on the train there, you're encouraged to dress up in 1920s garb. And so I would see these women glamorously dressed, and it was funny because I always wanted to go up to them and be like, "Hi guys, you'll see me greeting you at the door, have a fun time," or whatever. But I had to put on this sort of New York 1920s accent. Yeah?
The one in London?
Yeah. Have you been?
I went last year.
Really? When? When last year? I was there from October for a few months.
I think I went July.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know it at that point. I think the first time I saw it was in October, but a lot of my friends are doing it. It's so good. It's now moved to the West End, so it's very different. I kind of miss the off West End, the off West End quite a lot, mainly because memories and also because they changed a few of the things. But West End is gorgeous. And that was it was funny because of Corona. They had to cut out a bunch of scenes which were like one-on-one of like, oh, Mr. Gatsby wants to see you in his office. Like they literally had to cut that because they had to minimize.
Oh yeah, I loved when at certain parts you'd all be in the main part and then they'd split off.
Yes.
Like maybe the girls and the boys, and then you went. It was great.
Well, yeah. They just kind of, that was also one of my things of I would be audience management, so I'd be like, Mr. Gatsby wants to see you in his office. Please go this way. And I'm kind of like trying to put on this this voice and then get a certain amount of people and move everybody around of like, excuse me, would you like to step this way? And like trying to get people to do the Charleston during the interval or during the when you learn it, and that was super fun. I think we were just mad at you just missed of us talking about originally I said I really wanted to usher, and then Perry said they did a tour job. So I was just saying about Gatsby. That's a really good one. But that is off topic for Beetlejuice, but that is a gorgeous show that people should go and see when it's back up and running.
It was. I went in full, like, get up, and then I saw people in, like, pineapple T-shirts. It made me very sad.
I know.
Because everyone was in these amazing costumes, and then you had that one person in, like, 21st century clothing. It just peeved me off.
Well, it's funny because there's actually a bit for that of where there's a tea scene where Gatsby's about to meet Daisy and he goes around in like the main bit. Oh yeah, like you said, like I love the bits where the good thing about that compared to some other immersive shows is that you still have the whole plot. Like you're there for all the important bits, but you have some extra like character side things of like, you're going to learn some facts about Jordan Baker if you go into this room or something else. And they would take the piss out of people who would not be dressed correctly, and they'd be like, hello, madam, you're dressed wonderfully, can you walk this way? And he would kind of like take her on his arm and then put her in front of a guy wearing like jeans and a t-shirt and be like, can you just hide him? Because he's trying to impress Daisy and stuff.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. That was really cool. So they add some whimsy to it because they'll and if they pick on somebody for whatever reason, for a character or an improv line that's been written in, they will comment on what they're wearing. So they'll be like, oh, you're dressed really nice. Or they'll be like, yeah, you look a bit sloppy tonight, mate. Like, what are you wearing?
Get out.
Or like, I've never seen this kind of clothing. What is it? Like, because obviously it's 1920s. So they have to like play that up. Actually, one time I was on duty of you're not allowed to use your phone during the show until the end. And a lot of people would open it at the interval. And me and the security guard would go over one time we didn't do it for too long because people were idiots for a bit, but we would go over and we'd be like, oh my God, what is this technology? Like, how does it fit in your, what are you doing with that thing? And they're like, it's a phone. And I'm like, well, how does that phone fit in your hand? That's crazy talk, like kind of like basically saying like, oh, well, ma'am, it's the 1920s. I don't think that should exist right now. Like, basically saying, turn off your phone. Yeah, turn off your phone, please. But then they were like, oh, yeah, sorry. but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, that's Gatsby.
That's amazing.
Go see that. When the West End is up and running, back on it. Oh, miss it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got no McDonald's or KFC. It's very sad.
It's all of this is sad for a lot of reasons, but especially fast food and Broadway.
Yeah.
Theatre and stuff. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Have we?
Anyone have anything else?
Do you guys want to plug your social medias? Maybe.
Absolutely, Perry.
Yeah, so I said at the beginning, I am one of 4 rats in a trench coat. I am also 4 rats in a trench coat. You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok. And I've actually made a Facebook page as well. So find me on any of those. It's the number 4 and then rats in a trench coat.
Oh, amazing. Charlie?
I am Charles II Cos on Instagram and TikTok, and Twitter I am CharlieVeg12, I think.
Nice.
But,
Awesome. Matty?
I'm trying to remember mine because I've just rebranded, didn't I? It's Matty and the Cosplay on Instagram, and TikTok.
Nice.
I think.
I'm just going to plug my TikTok because that's basically the only place I do cosplay.
Go on, Ben.
Benedictok, which I'm very proud of that name. Benedict
Very good.
with okay on the end, as in like, haha, funny pun. But basically that was a lot of fun, you guys. That brings us to the end of today's episode of the podcast.
Except for some technical issues, we'll try and get those sorted by next time.
Well, we're episode 1. We're already killing it right now. And to plug the social media for the show, if you guys want to check that out and follow along and check back for episode 2, whenever that's going to be, the Neitherworld podcast, just to stress the spelling of that, the Neither, Neither, because we're clever and funny.
It's pronounced neither.
It's neither.
Cartoon.
Yeah.
Neitherworld.
Yeah,
it's neither here nor there.
Ha ha ha. Again, so full of great puns. That's on Instagram and Facebook, so go check that out. Thank you for listening if anybody's listening, and if not, we've just had a lot of fun anyway. So, thanks very much. This was super fun, guys, and good night, and have a good one. Bye-bye.